The Cruiser from Magicycle has the largest battery for fat bikes in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. In the review, I'll show you if that helps these guys stand apart or not. I'll also show you how it compares to other brands as far as speed, acceleration, range, hill climbing ability, and stopping power. So let's get to it, starting off with a speed test. Well, the Cruiser has a 750 watt brushless motor in the rear wheel, and that's the same size as other brands I've tested in this price range. Now it's powered with a 52 volt, 15 amp hour lithium battery. That's the largest battery in this class. It is pretty easy to remove and has a battery level readout and takes 3 to 5 hours to recharge. The Cruiser has 9 pedal assist levels. I have it set from 0 to 5, that's just what I prefer. But you can do like 0 to 3, you can do 1 to 3, 0 to 5, 1 to 5, 0 to 9, 1 to 9. You have a bunch of different options, and you can also change the power for each one of those assist levels. They say you can reach 28 miles per hour on that highest pedal assist level, and you can also adjust how fast you want the bike to go in the settings as well. I do have it set to the highest power output for this test. I do have a full battery and a flat stretch of road here, so let's see how fast I can go. For pedal assist 1, I got 14 miles per hour. Pedal assist 2, 18. Pedal assist 3, 21. Pedal assist 4, 25. And pedal assist 5, 27 miles per hour. Now that is shy of the rating by 1 mile per hour, but does tie with a couple other brands for the second fastest in this price range. Before I move on to the next test, I rode the bike until the battery was down to around 20%, found another flat stretch of road, and was still hitting 26 miles per hour, which is one less than when the battery was full. The Cruiser has a 6061 aluminum frame that weighs 76 pounds and has the lowest weight capacity, or ties for the lowest weight capacity, of 276 pounds. Now most bikes take about 16 to 17 seconds to reach about 26, 27 miles per hour. So we're going to find out if the Cruiser can beat that time. Now in the settings, you can switch the bike to a slower or more gentle starts. Obviously for this test, I do have it set to the most sensitive and most powerful settings. So let's see how well it does. The takeoff for throttle is almost instant, while pedal assist does take around a half to 3/4 revolution before it kicks in, but when it does, it really gets going and is just a little faster than the throttle. Now when compared to the other brands, it is one of the slower bikes. It reaches 25 miles per hour pretty quick, but getting to 27, it does seem to top off, and takes almost 20 seconds to reach that speed. The Cruiser has a range rating of 30 to 55 miles. I do have a full battery, got my tracking app open, start workouts. Let's see how far I can go. Here's everything I liked and didn't like about the Cruiser, starting off with the look. Oh, this is another skinny framed fat tire bike, and I'm usually not a fan of these bikes that have the battery on the outside. I like it kind of concealed and built into the frame, but they did shade the battery so it's kind of angled here in the very front that meshes in with the frame pretty well, so it's not as big of an eyesore as other bikes I've seen that have the batteries on the outside of the frame. At the front of the frame, there's 4 screws here, so if you wanted to add an accessory basket, you could. And then they also have 2 on the top bar for like a water bottle. And then you have a rear rack, which is one of the smaller ones I've seen on a fat bike, but it does have a quick release bungee. The biggest difference as far as looks are the U-shaped handlebars. And these things are just angled up very high. But as far as riding comfort, it gives you a really good posture. It's not the best looking bike, but it is comfortable to ride. The balance on this bike is very nice. I can easily ride this without any hands right off the bat. It is one of the more stable bikes out there. One of my favorite features about these fat tire bikes is when you turn, even when you're turning sharp, there's more resistance just because of all the surface area of the tires. And so it makes the bike just want to stand upright. The bike has a size rating of 5'3" to 6'4". As most of you guys know, I'm 5'11", and I can manage the bike just fine. It is a bigger bike, but nothing, too extreme or too hard to manage. Now, like I mentioned before, the handlebars are a little bit different than other fat bikes I've reviewed, just in the fact that they're higher, and they do have a pretty good spread. The grips aren't anything special, kind of standard for a bike in this price range, and that's also true with the half twist throttle. The brake levers are a little bit different. They do have a rubber pad, gives you a little bit more control, and when you press them, they do cut the motor off. There's a Shimano 7-speed system going up, just one at a time, coming back down. One push goes from 7 to 1, and everything locks in with that. Haven't had any problems with the gears. Now, the saddle is one of my favorite designs for a bike. It's kind of high at the back end, and it dips down in the middle and comes up in the front. And that just kind of seems to hold me in place. The pedal assist sensitivity is pretty good. When I'm topping out, going about 26, 27 miles per hour, if I stop pedaling, it cuts out within about a half a second. And then when I start pedaling and on the highest gear, it picks back up within about 1.5 to 2 revolutions. The throttle is instantaneous. It doesn't matter how fast I'm going. As soon as I hit that, it just delivers power right away.
When the battery finally died, my app recorded almost 13 miles with 807 feet of elevation gain. That is a ways off from the rating of 30 to 55 miles, and I also wasn't maxing out the bike the entire time. There were a few miles where I was averaging 13 to 14 miles per hour, so I would have hoped for a better range. Now 13 miles does make this the lowest for range in this price range, so they do have some work in the range department. I would have liked to have seen 20 to 25 miles while on the highest pedal assist level.
It's time to do some off-roading to test out the front fork spring alloy suspension that can be locked and adjusted, which is typical for these types of bikes. Now this is a hardtail, there's no rear suspension here, so I'm gonna kind of be a little choosy on what trail I pick. Now it also has 26 by 4-inch Kenda fat tires, and this type of terrain is perfect for those types of tires. So I got a mixture of both rocks, hard pack, and sand out in this little desert patch here. Gonna test the bike out and see how it does. This is gonna perform the best on like a gravel road that a lot of cars travel. Not a lot of rocks, not very bumpy. That's where these types of bikes are really meant and designed to go. Some of these bikes really tend to rattle and shake quite a bit when I'm going over a rocky section like I am now. Typically it's the kickstand that just rattles and bangs against everything. You can hear this is bumpy because my voice is kind of shaking, but it's actually very quiet when hitting those rougher sections. Just something I don't see on these big old fat bikes when taking them off road. Now as far as power, there's some pretty steep hills out here and this just powers right up them. Now the Cruiser has 86 Newton meters of torque, which ties for the highest amount of torque of any bike in this class. Magicycle says that it can climb a 13% slope at 13 miles per hour. This hill in front of me I've used before. It's 17 to 18% grade, and it's about 1.5 blocks long, so it's a very good sized hill. I want to show you guys how it can climb when the battery's almost dead. I'm curious to see if it's going to be able to make it up this with a 9% battery. So here we go. Oh, here starts to get a little bit tricky. Down to 7, back up to 8. I'm on gear 1. I'm feeling some pretty good resistance. Actually, kick it up to gear 2. For the battery almost being gone, it just dropped down to 8%, and I'm at 9 miles an hour. It is doing very well. Coming up over the top, hitting 10, 11, and I'm there.
I did the test again, this time with the battery at around 80% to see if I can make it up a little faster. And I did, but not by much. The first time I dropped down to 7 miles per hour. With a full battery, I never got below 8.
The Cruiser has Nut Aries 180mm disc brakes. I just got word from the company that they are upgrading to Tektro disc brakes, but I've got a hill in front of me, about 6% grade. I'm gonna head down it, test them out, and see how well they work. I do have to pull on the levers quite a bit to get that thing to stop from that speed and on the slope. But they didn't pulsate, they were smooth, and have decent braking power.
Next is an overview of the LCD screen and control pad.
Okay, well on the screen, it displays battery life, speed, trip, and pedal assist level. On the left is the control pad, and on the top here, there's a button, that's your power button, plus a minus to change the pedal assist level, and then an I button to, view different readouts.
If the plus button is held, that will turn on the 6-volt headlight. It also comes with a bright tail light that does light up when either brake lever is pressed.
One thing I really like about this bike is how easy it is to access the menu and to change the settings. Just hold down the plus and minus button for a couple seconds, and then just use the plus and minus button to scroll through different settings in the menu. First one is the wheel diameter, second one is the speed limit. You can change the brightness of the screen. This is set to the highest level. I'll just show you real quick the lowest level here, which is pretty dim. Under the advanced settings, this is where you can change the pedal assist level that I talked about earlier. So it's very easy to navigate and to change, which I really like. So you can set it to turn off automatically after a certain amount of time. Change the units, add a password, factory reset, reset the trip odometer, and that's pretty much it.
The Cruiser comes with an IPX6 rating, which means it can be ridden in the rain, a 2-year warranty, free shipping in the lower 48, a free 15-day trial, and costs $1,549. Overall, here's what you can expect if you're around my weight of 185 pounds. A top speed of 27 miles per hour for both pedal assist 5 and straight throttle. A pretty fast acceleration up to around 25 miles per hour. After that, it does slow, taking almost 20 seconds for the bike to go flat out. Range isn't the best, that's the only thing I didn't like. They do need to make some improvements there. But hill climbing ability was good, and braking power is average for this range, and they don't squeak or pulsate. The thing I like the best about the Cruiser is how comfortable it is. I like the high handlebars, the nice form-fitting seat, and the sensitive pedal assist. Add another 5 miles of range and you got yourself a high-quality bike. If you want to pick it up, I've got the link in the description. Also, check out my website for all my reviews. I've made it easy to compare other brands by price, capability, and performance. Before you go, hit that like button, and please subscribe for the latest in electric bike, board, and scooter reviews. Thanks for watching, and take care.